I got an opportunity for you today. So you got a chance to buy two different businesses. I need you to pick which one you're going to buy. So one of them is got revenue in the hundreds of millions every year, consistent revenue, but they're just making widgets and, you don't care about the widget. It's nothing that's, important to you or anything like that. And the second business is just enough revenue to keep the lights on. Maybe you got to, cut back on certain things, but it's enough to keep you alive, right? But that second business is built around serving vets and helping them in their transition out of the military. Which one do you pick?
I'd buy both.
You buy both?
I'd buy the first one because that gives me passive income because it's already running. I can do some tweaks. I can come in, make some minor adjustments to it and increase the profit level, which means increase the amount of passive income that I'm getting. And then I can take my active hours and apply them to that veteran business and give back to one of my passion areas, which is the veteran community, and help that veteran tribe out and grow that business to the next level. That's what I would do.
So when you were looking at that, you had the money on one end and the impact on the other. How does that weigh into your definition of success when you were looking at that problem?
Well, the one thing you got to keep in mind is money does not make impact, but money allows you to have impact. Mm-hmm. The more impact you make, the happier you are, at least for me. The more impact I have on the veteran tribe, on communities, helping people live with purpose and pursuit live with intention in pursuit of their purpose to achieve their vision. If I can do that, and I can start to give that away because I've got passive income taking care of me. And here's the other thing I can do with additional income is I can get the word out to more people. Because last time I checked, you can post something on social media, you can post something here on YouTube, and that gets you, so far. But if you put a little money behind it because they're all for-profit businesses, you put some money behind it, and guess what? Boom, boom, boom. You touch more people. You make more impact. So the correct answer is, if you want to make impact, you've got to be able to take care of yourself, and that requires money. Because if you're a homeless person standing on the street corner with a cardboard sign saying, we'll work for food or anything helps or whatever
I was going to take that a step further of holding up the sign saying, here's 10 steps to being happier in your life because you want to go do that good.
Yeah. Yeah. And truthfully, are you going to really make that much impact? Mm-hmm. Randomly, somebody on that street corner stopping at that light might be changed by your street sign. Your street sign is better because it would actually make impact. But if I had the resources, which resources does go back to cash flow, if I had the resources to get the word out, to buy a commercial in the Super Bowl would teach people, give people a soundbite for how to live happy, how to live in pursuit of their purpose, wouldn't that make more of an impact? But I can't do that unless I have the cash flow to do that.
Yeah. I think there's this really funky dichotomy that is, very interesting from, my economics perspective of that people equate money to success a lot. That it's like, in order to be successful, when you say somebody's very successful, you're picturing somebody with a huge house and a pool, the big family and all that kind of stuff, because that, the image we have of success, we think of the actors and, all of those type of celebrities. And then at the same time, we have this pretty, general knowledge of money's the root of all evil, right? And I think there's this really interesting dichotomy there because it treats this thing, this item, money, as either, depending on which camp you're in, as the good thing or the bad thing, instead of being just an object. And I think that's the really interesting way that, you're putting it, is money is the object to make the impact. Like, money is just a tool. Just like anything else.
It's a
exactly.
Tool. Yeah. It's a tool.
And if you believe it to be evil, then you can avoid it all you want, but you're not gonna be able to make that impact, right? I think we both know a lot of people in the nonprofit who are, they almost have like this fear of money and making money and those type of things, even though they know where that money would go and the impact that could make. And so I think that when you think about this success, it's important that you face those dichotomies and realize that money is just a tool and you could use it as you want. I've talked about this a bunch on the podcast. This really interesting, some really interesting stuff about how you define profit as an entrepreneur, and economically speaking, how much money should somebody make? What could they do with the money? And I always think of an economist, Frank Knight, talking about this. One of the things that he says is that as an entrepreneur accumulates more capital, as they are successful, they accumulate more capital. They will leverage that capital to create more capital and make a bigger impact. And he talks about this, and this is one of those in theory. It makes a lot of sense in practice. That's why we have taxes and whatnot. But he's saying when you have somebody who has a successful business and they make money because they're successful, you want them to keep that money because they will make the biggest impact. And the reason I bring that up, that from Frank Knight, is because if you don't have the money, you can't make the impact. And if people, whether nonprofits, for-profits, whatever, if you are looking at your business as a means of making an impact, you're looking at your life as a means of making an impact, you got to leverage all the tools you can. And those tools are going to include money.
Yeah. I mean, it 100%. I mean, you're being really naive. And well, I'll take it one step further. Not only are you being naive, you're being arrogant and selfish. If you think that profit, if you think that better income is the root of all evil, then you're one of those people that sits back and takes the paycheck from the government and says, I choose not to work. Right. Yep. And those people do not make impact. Those people are suck on society. And that's all the only way to put it. Me, I want to make an impact. And in order for me to make an impact, a bigger impact, I have to take away the need to, or the concern to keep a roof over my head. Mm-hmm. So once I have cash flow to do that, to take care of my dimes, that takes care of, puts food on the table, keeps a roof over my head, gets my bills paid, then I can start to do, okay, who else can I help? How many more people can I serve? Because now my mind is more open. It's not concerned with survival. I've fulfilled my Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Exactly.
And now I can make an impact. I'm at the top of the pyramid and I'm fulfilling my needs by making an impact on society and frankly, making the world a better place by making an impact.
Yeah, because what happens, as you accumulate wealth, it frees you up to not be in survival mode. And we're not talking crazy levels of wealth in this situation. We're talking just marginal wealth there. You no longer in survival mode. That means you can cooperate. You can help other people. You can collaborate with other people to take that capital and reinvest it and to get even more. And then you can make a bigger impact and a bigger impact to reach the point of the self-actualization. And really kind of going back to, it's like the money is the root of all evil. I have to think that the people who fall into that are in two camps on the opposite end of the spectrum. That you don't come from money and it's this like angst towards something that you don't have. And then the other end of the spectrum where you've seen it mess with people and decay people and have this negative impact. So you think it's this evil thing and you want to attribute a cause that's not really there because it's just a tool, like we were saying. But I think anyone will tell you, whether it's fame, whether it's money, whatever your measure of success is going to be that, you're striving for. So many people will say that can cause you to be a bad person. But it's not. It's just revealing the character that you already have, right? If you're the person who was already donating 20% of your paycheck to go help the homeless shelter in your local city, and you make a lot more money all of a sudden, 20% of that paycheck's still going there. Probably more of it, realistically. But you have to remove the idea that money is a bad thing in order to recognize it as what it is, that tool, and then use it, leverage that tool to create more success for other people, make that big impact. I want to throw one other question to you before we wrap
I'll
up.
say one thing about that.
Yeah.
Taking it to a deeper root cause, it's an attitude of abundance versus scarcity. When you live in scarcity, even when you have money, you believe that that money will be taken away. And people who live in scarcity are always grabbing for more money. If you live in abundance, you realize that the money will come and the money will fuel the action, the ability to impact. But you know that money will follow your impact, not
I'll,
you need to have money in order to impact.
I'll take it to another level. We want to go even deeper on this one. That hatred or that disgust towards the person that has the money and that type of thing, and that, hypothetical, it's the reflection on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're looking at somebody and you're mad about the way they're spending their money or those type of things, they're not making the impact, they have too much, whatever it is, I think that for a lot of people, that's a reflection of yourself, that if you were given that same opportunity, you are worried that you would behave poorly. It's kind of a little bit of a prisoner's dilemma type thing there. That's like, well, if I was in that situation, I know what I would do. And so you're assuming that the other person would do that rather than, what we were talking about of reaching that point of the self-actualization. What I was going to ask a second ago is, how do you think legacy fits in to the definition of success? So we talked a lot about legacy last week and, defining legacy and all of that. Do you have to have a legacy in order to be successful? I'm not sure if that's answerable. I realize as I said
it all depends on how you look at things. I mean, if you define legacy as, like we were talking about last week, as look at me, look what I've done, that's narcissistic and arrogance, right? But if the legacy that you've created is through impact, that's much different. And that's what I would look towards, is how much impact, how many more people can I help? How many more people can I serve? Tony Robbins is doing a great one with feeding people. And I can't remember his numbers, but he set like a goal to feed 1 million people, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. And that was like his 5-year goal. And he accomplished it like in 18 months or 2 years. And now it's like feed 100 million people. And, he's a well off man. He's very wealthy. I know he's not in the, super wealthy top 5 in the world sort of thing, but he's got generational wealth, and he has plenty of passive income, and he makes an impact on people, not just through his actions and his coaching and his programs and things like that, but even in something that seems that most of us take for granted as feeding people. Mm-hmm. And if I remember correctly, I think that's just in America that he's focused on, as opposed to, third world countries.
It makes me thinking Tony Robbins, in that like Frank Knight definition of the, he uses this interchangeably of capitalist versus entrepreneur, relatively interchangeable in that context. But you have me thinking of another example of that, which was Mark Cuban. One of the things he did recently was he bought up all of these different, actually, I think the patents had timed up or something like that. But he started a pharmaceutical company to price out the pharmaceutical companies who are overcharging for medicine. Mm-hmm. That is somebody with a ridiculous amount of success in business, successful business success in his life. He owns the freaking Dallas Mavericks, and he is leveraging that to make that bigger impact with that capital. And I think if you're listening to this and you want more success, and we mean real success, if you want more success in terms of just money, turn the video off, leave, probably don't come back to the channel. But if you want real success, meaning an impact, and to help people and to leverage your success in business to help more people and make a bigger impact, then what you should do is go to findyourpurpose.coach/vision, schedule a 15-minute vision analysis with me. We'll see what's working in your business, what's not working in your business, and we'll create a plan for success to get you that real success, not just some dollar amount that's you're going to get from some other coach, and then you're going to be really upset and you're not going to be happy and you're going to be depressed, and then you're going to come back to us a year from now when you finish up with that. No, for real success, go to findyourpurpose.coach/vision, and we'll help you to make that bigger impact that you want to make with your purpose.